Question 5. Question 5. 50% of the credit sales were paid after 2 working weeks and an additional 40% after 5 working weeks to the bank. So this, of course, the credit sales, we are referring again to our accounts receivable. Now it just says 50%, it doesn't say 50% of the balance, it just says 50% of our accounts receivable. Now of course, under other circumstances this could be perceived as meaning the balance. We would have to calculate that, but in this instance I'm referring directly to the overall credit sales that we actually had. So again, if this is how we're accounting for the reduction in credit sales, maybe put it in a different colour to make it obvious. So 50% of this, which is right, and 50% here. Right. So we've got 50% of the credit sales are now gone. We know we're no longer owed them. And it says that they were paid to the bank. So this is great for, well, the bank is the other side of the board, which is not so good, but nonetheless, we'll get over that. So this is the amount of money that has come down off it. But what it says here is that they were paid within 2 working weeks. A working week is 5 days. 2 by 5 days, 10 days. If you remember, the terms in which we sold them was 415 to 30. So they were sold at the terms of 415 to 30 and 60. So that means if it was sold within 10 days, it qualifies for a 4% discount. And that's what we need to apply. So if this is our sale, so this is 100% of the amount, and we're giving a 4% discount, that obviously means we're going to receive 96%. So very straightforward, we get 96% of that, and of course we're going to put it into the bank. Very straightforward, of course. So 96% of 103,525. Maybe my ambition is that's good. It's good. Maybe do I have a calculator? Get a little bit. Right. Right, so 103,525, 103,525, 5.996. So 99,384. So that means 99384. And 96% of 20,750. 96 by 2755. 19,925. Right, so this is how much we received in the bank. But of course we still have to somehow calculate the other 4%, or where does it go? Now, as with everything here, it is never quite as complicated as it seems when you're doing it. This is a discount that we have allowed these people to receive. So out there somewhere there is a T account that says discount allowed. Now this is part of our cost of goods sold, because obviously if we give a discount it means that it's costing us more to make that sale. So the discount allowed, we know that it's going to be 4% of the sale. So again, 103,525 by 4%. 4141. So that means we gave a discount of 4,141 against the sales. But of course, remember, This number here, again, refers to VAT. VAT, we can, of course, I can cancel the VAT that they owe me, but I have declared that I've made sales, that's going to mean I pay this much VAT. So, same principle applies. Do I want to pay VAT that I'm not receiving, or will I reduce that also? So this is what I'm going to do. Okay, it's going to be 20755 by 4%. 830. Right. So this is basically it. The breakdown, 50% of our money is gone, 96% we receive in the bank, 4% of the VAT in VAT payable, and 4% in the discount allowed, so that we can keep track of how much we gave as discounts. So our sales number doesn't need to change, just we're figuring out how we got paid for it. And this is technically us seeing we had to give them a discount to get paid. The exact same scenario falls into the second part of that question. 40% after 5 working weeks to the bank. So just changing this, 5 working weeks. It's 5 by 5 days, 25 days. That means it's less than 30. So as opposed to falling into that category, it now falls here. So they do get a 2% discount on the 40%. So we've got 40% of our sales here. Now I'll get rid of this to avoid any confusion, because obviously the percentages are going to be different. And that's the remainder. I mean, that's how much we got left, and this is how much we have got paid. Now, from our point of view, of course, this should mean that our accounts receivable is 0, but my maths is probably wrong, so it's probably not. Again, exact same principle applies. If we lose 2%, that means 98% was received to the bank. So we get 98% of this, and we put it into the bank. Maybe need a beer, sir. We put it into the bank. So if I get 98% of this, I have 82820 81163.6 and 98% of 16604 by 0.98 16271.92 16271.92. And of course the difference between these two is, say, the discount. I mean, I should probably be doing this in my head, but I've probably made so many mistakes at this point, I'll only make it worse. So, that means 2% of this goes into the discount allowed, 1656.4, and 2% of this, 332.08. Okay, and that's 2%. And that's it. That's basically the question. There's nothing more difficult. It's just how much we received. We received 96% of this, 4% of the discount, and the tax goes into the, reduces our tax. And then we received 98% of this, 2% discount, and the 2% tax into our tax.